With the sad passing of actor Sam Neill, I thought we'd take a look at one of his iconic films. What am I talking about? Event Horizon. The Lost Nightmare, Event Horizon, and the director's cut we'll probably never see. There are movies that flop, movies that become cult classics, and then there are movies surrounded by myths so strange that the story behind the film becomes almost as fascinating as the movie itself. Event Horizon is one of those films. Released in 1997, it was dismissed by critics, misunderstood by audiences, and quietly disappeared from theatres. Today, it's considered one of the greatest sci-fi horror films ever made. But fans have spent decades asking one question. What happened to the director's cut? Rumours of lost footage, graphic scenes too disturbing to release, a version of the film that was supposedly far more terrifying than anything we'd ever seen. This is the story of Event Horizon and the lost director's cut. By the mid-1990s, science fiction horror had changed. Alien had already shown that space could be terrifying. The Thing proved paranoia worked just as well as monsters. But director Paul W.S. Anderson wanted to do something different. Instead of aliens, what if the real horror came from another dimension? One that wasn't just dangerous, but evil. The premise was brilliantly simple. In the year 2047, a rescue crew investigates Event Horizon, an experimental spaceship that disappeared 7 years earlier. When it suddenly returns, something has come back with it. The ship wasn't merely lost. It had been somewhere humanity was never meant to reach. Although often compared to Alien, the film drew inspiration from several sources. The gothic horror of haunted houses, the cosmic horror ideas of H.P. Lovecraft, religious imagery involving hell and damnation, even medieval depictions of eternal suffering. The result was something unique. Instead of a haunted house, you had a haunted spaceship. Here's where things became complicated. Event Horizon had a rushed production schedule. The studio wanted the movie released quickly to fill a gap in Paramount's release calendar. According to Anderson, he had barely had enough time to finish principal photography before heading directly into editing. Now, normally a director has months to refine a film. Anderson had weeks. Then came the test screenings. Audience reportedly reacted strongly, not because they were bored, but because the movie was considered overwhelmingly graphic. Several scenes depicting what happened to the original crew were filled with disturbing imagery. The studio ordered significant cuts. If you've heard stories about Event Horizon, you've probably heard about this. One sequence, often called the blood orgy scene, showed fragmented versions of what happened when the ship entered another dimension. The footage reportedly included extreme violence, graphic mutilation, sexual imagery, religious blasphemy, cannibalism, and self-mutilation. Most of it flashes in the theatrical version in only a few seconds, but according to cast and crew interviews over the years, the original sequences were significantly longer. Some reports suggested nearly 10 minutes of material existed before heavy editing. Exactly how long remains is debated. Anderson has spoken many times about wanting to restore the original version. Unfortunately, there was one enormous problem. The deleted footage disappeared. During the late 1990s, studios often stored unused films in warehouses. Years later, when Anderson searched for the original negatives, they were gone. Eventually, some damaged reels were discovered in a Transylvanian salt mine archive. Now that sounds like something from the movie itself. Unfortunately, the recovered film had deteriorated badly. Most of the missing scenes were unusable. A restoration team worked with what survived for a special home video release, adding back a small amount of recovered footage, but the complete director's cut remained impossible to reconstruct. Ironically, everything the studio tried to remove became the reason people became fascinated with the film. Fans spent years trading rumours online. Some claimed there were secret VHS copies. Others believed Paramount still had the negatives hidden away. Every few years, another story would emerge claiming that someone had found the lost footage. Now, none of these rumours have ever been verified. Today, it's widely accepted that most of the original material is either lost or has deteriorated beyond recovery. Despite its disappointing box office performance, Event Horizon slowly found new life on DVD and cable television. Audience began appreciating what critics had overlooked: its practical effects, its unsettling atmosphere, its unforgettable production design. It's a mixture of science fiction and supernatural horror. Many modern filmmakers cite it as an influence. Games like Dead Space and horror films involving cosmic terror owe at least some creative debt to Event Horizon's vision of space as a place for unimaginable evil. Why does the movie still work? One reason Event Horizon remains effective is what it doesn't show. The glimpses of hell are brief, fast, almost impossible to process. Your imagination fills in the gaps. Sometimes that's far more terrifying than seeing everything. The missing footage has made the movie even more mysterious. The lost director's cut has become part of its mythology. A horror film, haunted by its own missing pieces. So, will we ever see the complete director's cut of Event Horizon? Probably not, unless forgotten reels somehow emerge from a forgotten archive, or a mislabeled film vault. The version fans have dreamed about for almost 30 years remains one of the cinema's greatest lost treasures. And maybe that's fitting, because some doors were never meant to be opened. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into one of the horror's cinema greatest mysteries, let us know in the comments. Do you think the lost footage is really gone, or is still sitting somewhere waiting to be discovered? If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the notification bell for more deep dives into lost films, forgotten horror and the strange stories behind the movies we love. Thanks for watching. See you next time.